Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, little late night video right here in the Wrestling Jesus group. Was reading some of that wrestling news, ladies and gentlemen. And CM Punk was bashing WWE there. He did an interview with, it was written an NYC DJ or whatever. I don't know if this is a good radio station. Maybe an interview with a big nerd in his mother's basement in New York somewhere. But he did an interview of some sort. And he was bashing WWE's Boring Formula or whatever. I think we all know CM Punk's formula, which is bashing WWE because that's all he has, you know what I mean? It's pretty obvious the formula since he's been back in wrestling or whatever. So there was some quotes. I was reading this on No DQ there. I literally want to wrestle everybody, but I'm telling a specific story here of coming back, kind of restarting, rekindling my love for professional wrestling. Out wanting to wrestle everybody. The thing is, if he wrestles a whole bunch of jobbers, he's not going to elevate them. He's going to lower himself. You know what I mean? In pro wrestling, you don't have Hulk Hogan wrestling a midget jobber or something, you know? CM Punk is supposed to be a star, you know what I mean? You're supposed to wrestle other stars. Problem is, there ain't no stars in AEW, basically, there, but they're trying maybe to impress indie fans by having him do competitive matches against indie midgets. But, you know, you're not really impressing anybody because nobody's watching your product, you know what I mean? And the story that he's telling, I'm telling a specific story here of coming back. What kind of boring story is this? He's back. He's wrestling shitty, boring people. It's almost become a joke at this point. All the bums he's wrestling there. You know what I mean? So what exactly is the story? I'm back and I'm doing a story about coming back. Like, to me, this just sounds weird and lazy. You know what I mean? I'm gonna write a movie. What's your movie about? I'm gonna write a movie about a guy that's writing a movie and he doesn't have a lot of ideas or whatever. You know what I mean? To me, this is what this is there, like. And it's not even being presented like this, that it's a story of a big comeback. It's just him wrestling a bunch of jobbers, making himself look like a jobber in the process. Like, where's the big storytelling, the intricate storytelling of an out of touch and a few steps behind CM Punk? Where's the big storytelling about his comeback? If that's his unoriginal stories telling, you know, where's the intricate storytelling? It's him wrestling bums. Like, if I went back to WWE, what would I do? Well, you have a built-in story against Roman Reigns. Real heat there that's been ongoing for years. And Roman Reigns is the biggest star in wrestling. You know what I mean? What would I do? Like, that's the match. Like, CM Punk, the old indie jobber, you know what I mean? Daniel Bryan got beat by Roman Reigns. You tell the story of CM Punk, the bitter guy who bashed Roman Reigns and turned the fans against him, and he didn't think Reigns was worthy, whatever, and he should have been the star and not Reigns there, which is what this was all about there. There's a fucking match against the biggest star in wrestling, not fighting Bobby Fish. That's not it there, retard. You know what I mean? That would have been money. Punk against Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. The biggest show of the year against the biggest star. This moron, what would I do? Like, really? Like, you know, he himself talked about a potential match with Triple H. Again, that's another story right there. You have Triple H sending henchmen after Punk, and eventually it's Punk against Triple H. It could have done all kind of big stuff, you know what I mean? Real shit. Plus, there's a whole bunch of new guys that Punk could have wrestled. And if he wanted to wrestle young guys and have 30-minute matches against young people to try to look good there's a whole bunch of these guys in WWE as well, and they're better than the young guys in AEW. You know what I mean? Big mistake going there. Then he's talking about WWE. There's a formula. There's a track record and a formula. Most businesses have a formula there, but you have a formula, pal. This is what they do. Batista comes back. He wins the Rumble. He main events Mania. Edge comes back. He's in the Rumble. I think he won it twice. He might have won. I don't know. And I was reading this at my dad's place. My dad, is he jealous of Edge? Or kind of sounds like it here. He's bitter. I mean, he might have won. I don't know. He goes on to main event WrestleMania. There's a formula, and I was bored of that 10 years ago. So I'm bored of it now. This guy lost the belt against The Rock. You know, apparently Rock against Cena wasn't obvious to him there of what should have been him. Instead of Rock against Cena, PG versus Attitude Era. Punk doesn't understand that he should have lost the belt here or whatever. And when this happened, he complained against part-timers coming back, taking his spot. He was talking about The Rock, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? Put your fucking ego aside and do what's best for business, like Triple H says. But CM Punk, you know, he's apparently a bigger deal than The Rock there in his mind. And the belt should have stayed on him there. He deserved it by winning fake matches or whatever. You know, so basically when this happened, when he lost the belt, he complained. And he was able to convince Marks and indie fans that somehow it's a bad thing when a real star like The Rock or Brock Lesnar shows up. It's bad. You know, Edge, he was gone. He made a heroic comeback of some sort there. A movie style comeback and shit. Apparently, this is wrong now, you know? You get to see a real star that's popular for real. that's good for real. Stuff you're supposed to be excited for if you're a wrestling fan. You get to have a star like this at Mania. This is wrong. McMahon just wants to pop a rating or whatever. I'd rather see Bobby Fish. I mean, give me a fucking break. But just because Punk hates part-timers and real stars from the past doesn't mean I have to hate this. You know what I mean? I enjoy seeing a real star coming back, winning the Rumble and sometimes winning the belts. If it's a guy that can still go and I like him, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to pretend to hate it for weird fucking indie reasons, Dave Meltzer stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? When Edge won the Rumble, I was happy. Why would I hate this? Like, I'm a wrestling fan. Edge was a big deal. He comes back. It's fuck. Why would I hate that? Because CM Punk said so. Because Meltzer said so. Fuck stupid. You know what I mean? Just because Punk apparently hates this. The reason he hates this is because he lost against The Rock. You know what I mean? We as fans, we don't have to hate a real star coming back. Like, why should we hate this? We get to see a star. This is stupid. You know what I mean? But just because they hate this doesn't mean I have to or whatever. Just because indie fans claim this garbage, I don't have to play along with that. And here's the deal. Sometimes an old star comes back, wins the Rumble. He may or may not win the title at Mania. There's two different possibilities. Sometimes it's a new guy, you know what I mean? The new guy that wins the Rumble and wins his first championship at Mania. Are we supposed to call this a formula? Like, I'm tired of new guys getting the big win at the Rumble and winning the match at Mania. This is a formula here. Is that how we're supposed to act? Like, sometimes you get a regular guy like a Randy Orton that's gonna win. You know what I mean? So new guy, old guy, current guy that already won like a Randy Orton or whatever. It can be different things that happen. Like, what else is supposed to happen? Mansoor wins the Rumble and just loses against Roman Reigns. How do you change the Royal Rumble formula? Like, it's either a former champ or a new guy that wins. The fuck else are you supposed to do? This is fucking retarded. Like, um, but it's not always old guy winning and coming back every year. That's not the truth there. Um, I understand people saying that they don't like certain things and all that. Then it's not for you. I get it. I think he's talking about himself here, there. The criticism, because he was dealing with criticism about fighting bums and stuff, and he deflects this by starting to trash WWE there. And then he comes back to himself. I understand people saying that they don't like certain things and all that. Then it's not for you. I get it. Well, I don't think it's smart to say this. Fans, 99% of Punk's fans know him from WWE, not Ring of Honor. You know what I mean? Get serious. The people that know Punk, they've seen him do big stuff in WWE. Big promo, big money main events of CM Punk. You can't blame these people for wondering what's going on with Grandpa Joe, CM Punk, looking like he's just fucking crawled out of an alley somewhere there, losing a step in the ring and fighting boring fucks like Bobby Fish. A 20-minute boring as fuck technical wrestling match against Bobby Fish. People don't want that. The fuck is this? Like, you can't blame people for wondering what the fuck this is. Like, they're used to seeing a big deal, Punk. They don't want to see whatever the fuck this is. Like, it's just criticism. Like, it's not that CM Punk isn't for them. It's CM Punk fans, a lot of people. They're just wondering why it has to be so shitty. You know what I mean? And the ratings speak for itself. Like, the last thing he should do here is alienate people by acting all high and mighty. It ain't for you, I get it. He acts like he doesn't care, but he's being defensive, Like I said, I'm there for the fans and the building. I'm telling the stories that I want to tell. There's no story there. Like, there's no story. It's a story about a guy coming back. Give me a fucking break. And I'm having fun doing it. He's having fun. You'll know when it ain't fun for me because I won't do it. Good for you, bud. Like, good for you there. This guy always has to act like he's so high and mighty. You know what I mean? Basically, their people are criticizing your boring matches and your shitty promos and your ring rust. That's valid criticism. Him bashing WWE and then getting on his high horse with the fans. I don't get it. You don't. It's not for you. I get it. Like, I'm just here for the people in the building. The people in the building, some of them are asking, where's the real Punk as well? You know what I mean? You keep putting on shitty performance like this. People might not show up to the building, folks. I mean, but it is what it is. There, CM Punk, he bashed WWE, the formula. I mean, he's basically just deflecting real criticism about himself and attacking WWE just to try to deflect because he's got fuck all else. That's all he has. If anybody has a formula, it's that fucking bitter schmuck. You know what I mean? Until next time, peace!